what's great about entrepreneurship in general, right? You analyze what's in front of you, you learn the best you can, you look at the data, you make a decision, and you move forward. And you live with the results of that decision. And hopefully you're right more than you're wrong. But that is kind of, I think, the fun thing about personal growth. And it's the same when you have your own business as a franchise owner, right? You're doing these same decisions, these same things are in front of you. But I like that. For me, that's definitely the way to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's having that mindset of constant never-ending improvement. If you have that mindset, then that's how you view things and that's how you feel, as far as I'm constantly looking for ways to improve the business, have a better experience for my team, a better experience for my franchisees, a better experience for my families that come into Taste Buds Kitchen.
Welcome to Enrich Your Empire with Richie Huffman, the ultimate podcast for entrepreneurship, impactful wealth building, and effective team leadership. It's time to enrich your business and create a lasting legacy. Let's get to work.
Hey guys, welcome back to Enrich Your Empire with Richie Huffman. Today I spoke with Jessi Brelsford. Jessi's a Harvard graduate, went to Wall Street, and then left Wall Street to find her passion in the kitchen. She started a company called Taste Buds Kitchen. Jessi and I spoke about her leadership style and how that leadership style has changed over the years. Jessi and I also spoke about those that are literally escaping out of the corporate world to create their destiny through franchising. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey Jessi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I was just telling Adam I had a sleepover last night at my grandmother's, who turned 87, with my three kids. So their great grandmother.
Oh, I love that.
Twin 4.5-year-olds and a 7-year-old and a mom.
Oh, I love
my grandma sleeping.
Oh.
It was fun. We got to school on time, so I'll call it a success. But that was kind of a highlight of our week.
Did she stay up later than everybody else, or was she?
No, of course. With daylight savings, my kids are waking up at like 5 a.m. ready to go.
That's amazing.
So,
that sounds awesome. Oh, that's what a blessing that is.
It really is.
Oh, we talk all the time how important our grandparents are to our children, to us. It's just a lot of families don't really take that into consideration. All those lessons and all the history that our grandparents carry with them and all that knowledge. We just have to tap into it as families.
Yes, and I was blessed. I had 3 great grandparents alive for most until I was mid-20s to 30s. We lost my grandfather earlier this year, and so we're giving my grandma extra TLC. But they're just the most special. My kids, literally, if we haven't been to her house in a couple weeks, they'll come up and they'll say, you know what, we haven't been to Graham's lately. We need to go. They love it. They feel so special. And yes, a wealth of knowledge, heritage. It's really, really a blessing to be able to be with your great grandparents, or in my kids' case, their great grandparents and great grandparents.
Oh, I love that. Oh, well, thanks for starting it off with that. I think just family and having that relationship with our kids and grandparents is just so special and so needed. So just let's get started. So tell us a little bit about you and how you got started and where we're at today, where you're at on this amazing journey. I know you have three children.
Yes. Do you want the personal, professional, all in combined? How can I best?
Wherever you want to start and however you want to present it.
Well, so I am going back to the very beginning, from Maryland, born and raised, one of 23, first cousin. So I was always the Pied Piper of the group. I've always loved children. I'm the third oldest in the lineup. Always loved the kitchen, always loved baking, just celebrating. I learned from my grandma, my great grandmother, my mom, family. So grew up, went to Harvard, majored in economics. I was a Division I swimmer, so I also love business and numbers and competition. And that got me to move to New York City right after school. Worked for Bear Stearns for 7 years. I loved that. I was in fixed income sales and trading. I really did like what I did, and I had great bosses. But I am from a family of entrepreneurs, really the entrepreneur balance where they would have a corporate job but had businesses on the side. My dad, my grandfather were always talking about it at the family table, numbers, who was doing what was working, what was not. So I grew up in that culture. and ultimately started my business, which is called Taste Buds Kitchen. I started it as a hobby while I was on Wall Street teaching kids to bake. So initially it was called Cupcake Kids. I would do 1 or 2 classes a month. I was living with a friend, and her fiance lived in Soho, and I would take over their studio apartment, 2 26-year-old men, disgusting, right? So I would clean it top to bottom before I would do these classes. It was a really big room, and people could come in, and the kitchen was open, so it worked really well for the first classes. People loved it. I loved it. I really never thought it would be a business. I never thought it would be a franchise. It was a passion project, just something that, I wanted to be around kids, adults in the kitchen doing something fun that I had naturally done growing up.
How old are you at this time, at this moment?
26.
26.
26. Not married, did not own a home, right? Like doing the Wall Street thing, working a ton, making very good income. Shopping on Nordstrom's for a 26-year-old was amazing. Buying cheap, whatever. Living life as a young professional in New York City.
Well, that's why I asked you the question, because I'm still amazed. Working in Wall Street and Bear Stearns, and how they work you to the bone. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna do these cooking classes like that.
My colleagues thought I was nuts.
I know.
They're like, what are you doing?
Right.
I find this fun. I find this interesting. And
okay.
At the same time, I had enrolled in a pastry program at the Institute of Culinary Education in New York City. It was a 12-week pastry program. Every Sunday night, the class was 6 hours long. It's from 5 until midnight, essentially. And every Monday morning, I would show up on the trading floor with the pies and the bread, the cookies that I had painstakingly made the night before. And all my colleagues were like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is fun for me. This is a hobby and I'm liking it. Again, never in a million years did I think it would be my business or a franchise business. So that's how it got started.
That's crazy. That's so amazing. So we have something else in common, because that's exactly how old I was when I started. I was 26 years old.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I think back now, I'm 44, so I see 26-year-olds now and I'm like, what do you know at 26? So little, but I was fearless.
That's awesome.
My dad, I remember saying, because Bear Stearns, I was there kind of for the tanking of Bear Stearns. And when JP Morgan acquired us, June of 28 was my last day, my last month there. And I was on the list to go to be part of JP Morgan. I was going to, get hired over and have a good job and all of that. And my hobby, Taste Buds Kitchen, had been going for about a year at that point. And I kind of thought, maybe this is my chance to actually do this, to leave Wall Street, to start doing this full time. And so I raised my hand to be let go, to be laid off. I knew I'd get 6 months of severance, 6 months of health insurance. And so I kind of saw this as, why don't I do this? So I remember calling my dad about it, and he was, while having businesses on the side, he's worked at, I think, 2 companies his whole life, right? So I'm very used to that. And he's like, are you sure? You've essentially made it to me, right? You're not on my payroll as a kid. You're paying your own bills. You're living in New York City. You have a good job, health insurance, the whole thing. He says, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I think I am. If not now, when? And my dad was so supportive. He said, you know what? If it doesn't work, you can always come home and live with your mom and I in Maryland. But then go for it. And so I did. I literally I hung up with him. I called him from a trading floor side office at Bear Stearns. I then hung up with him, went to my boss and said, hey, I want to be laid off. He's like, are you sure? You're on this list to be hired by JP Morgan. And I said, yes. He's like, okay. I'm literally I saw him change the list in front of me as I was saying this. And I just felt like, yes, this is the time. I've got to do it. So yeah, that's how. And
at that point, how old are you at that point?
26.
26.
I had just turned 27. My birthday's in May. So I started when I was 26. I was then a young 27-year-old. And I had from June until the end of the year. So I had 6 months of, salary and benefits to kind of figure it out through the end of the year. And I gave myself a year. I always liked that in the beginning. I said, look, there's going to be highs and lows. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know I can figure this out. I'm going to give myself a year. And that let me go through, I always say, the entrepreneurial journey. You have the highest highs and the lowest lows in a span of 30 seconds. You would literally go, and I would go, and I tell this to all of our franchise owners now, you're going to go from, I have changed my life, I just made the best decision I could have ever made, to 30 seconds later, what have I done? Right? Yeah. I've invested my life savings. I no longer have, the corporate security blanket around me. So I experienced it all in that first year.
So I love where we're at right now, because as you mentioned, it's a lot of what our franchisees are going through, right? They're going through, I'm leaving the corporate world to go create my own destiny, create a legacy for my family. But in your case, what were you, because your career there was not a very long career, but so what were you missing and what were you seeking?
Yeah, that's a great question. Missing, I think, was being what I felt like maybe true to myself, although I don't usually say that word. I'm more than just numbers and business, right? So I liked that a lot. I did. I am so competitive by nature. I love to win. I like to figure things out. I like do math problems in my head for fun. And I got all that fulfilled in my job. But I wasn't seeing anyone who wasn't between the age of 20 and 40 or 20 and 50 and wore a suit every day. I was just missing the creative side of me, which, because I didn't have any family in New York. So when I moved there, all my family really is in Maryland, or was at the time. And so I was missing that connection that the kitchen offered. And that's how I started this. And then in starting it, I was, people wanted me to do birth kids, what we do, and I say that is cooking classes. So Taste Buds Kitchen offers cooking classes, cooking birthday parties, cooking summer camps, corporate events. We do BYOB adult classes. So whenever I was doing a Taste Buds Kitchen event, I felt that connection and that buzz and that excitement. But then I also had the number side of me to figure out how to make it profitable, how to make it sustainable, right? How to make this go on and not be a hobby, but be a business. And then that kind of kept going when we decided to franchise. And that's been about 11 years now. It really was, okay, how could I partner with like-minded individuals across the country and help them figure this out? Something that they're passionate about, right? Number one thing we look for in our franchise owners, you have to be passionate about culinary entertainment. We're not making food to sell, right? We're not a restaurant. You can't order from us. You purely come into our kitchen, 2,000 square foot, beautiful studio, and cook whatever's on the menu that you signed up for. Handmade pasta, sushi and dumplings. Kids love to bake, so we have lots of cupcake classes and things like that. So I think that's what I was seeking, is the business, the numbers, and the creative and the family side. So many of our franchise owners now, it's one of their favorite things about owning Taste Buds Kitchen is their family can be involved. If they have little kids, they can come to the classes. If they have high schoolers, they work the business. If they have grown kids and grandkids, some of their grown kids work for them and their grandkids now come to the business. So it really is a business. And I like that now as a mom of 3 young kids. My kids can go there. I can work in the back. They can be around. It's something they understand, right? They can see the fruits of our hard work and our labor. Because my husband joined us about 12 years ago now. So we both do this full time. It is, the only income producer for our family. And it's fun for my kids to see that.
Yeah. So on that note, what are you looking for in a franchisee?
Yeah, great question. So I look for, first and foremost, and you want to be an engaged owner. We are looking for owner operators for our kitchens. You will have a general manager. So by no means you'll be the one teaching the classes, but you have to want to be engaged in this business because you are the one that's going to bring it out to the community, right? So have to be engaged owner, have to have a desire to be out and about in the community, right? Be good at making relationships, want to connect, want to promote your business when you open, want to work with the schools and small companies, big companies, just to get the word out there. We're looking for people who have the finances to make it happen, right? The investment is anywhere from high 300s to low 500s to open one kitchen. And we're looking ideally for empire builders, people who want to open not just one, but 2 or 3 or 4, kind of own their city for Taste Buds Kitchen. We've got a great mapping system that forecasts where the buyers of Taste Buds Kitchen are and how we can best do that. And you have to want to follow the system. I say this to everyone, right? No formal culinary training is needed. We will teach you what you need to know. You have to love the kitchen, but you have to want to do it the TBK way. And I say this to everyone, your key to success, and I love this for our franchise owners, is to execute on this model flawlessly, right? To take what we've developed. I've been doing this now in my 19th year, and take it and run with it and, execute it, market it, operate it, hire right, train your team, have a good culture, create these 5-star guest experiences when people are coming. That's who we look for.
That's awesome. Have you figured out yet why certain franchisees don't follow the system? That's like that's like a franchise. That's like a franchisor to franchisor a question. Because you nailed it perfectly of what the perfect franchisee is, right? Fully engaged, wants to make an impact on their community, guest experience, and most importantly, I mean, it's the whole purpose of being a franchisee is following the proven systems that the franchisor has put in place. But we still have some of those folks that just decide that no, they're going to do it a different way or not do it at all. It's probably a fool's question, but I'm still trying to figure that one.
Well, no, we use this tool, and I'll tell you in a year if it's helpful, but it's called Culture Index. Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
So what it is it's like a Myers-Briggs-esque. So it's a 5-minute computer questionnaire. You click on words that represent you. Are you this? Are you that? It's very easy, very, very quick to take. And what it does is it will take your natural self and it will tell us, hey, what is your autonomy? Do you like to drive results? Do you like to be helpful? It'll take your sociability. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted, right? Do you gain energy from social momentum or would you rather do the work in the back room? Are you patient or are you impatient? And then are you a conformist? Do you want and like and need to follow a system or do you not? And that's been really helpful. It just tells us who you are at the core. There is no perfect owner, but we will tell them the results of this in the franchise, discovery process. Before we award you a franchise, we're going to tell you who you are at your core based on your answers. And we'll say look, you really want to drive results. We love that. Right? You are slightly introverted. That's okay. It means that, hey, you can be social and we'll help you find a GM, a general manager who will be teaching your classes that's going to be more extroverted than you are. Right? You are slightly impatient and you don't want to conform. So if that's really too far off, we're going to talk to them about that. We're going to say, hey, give me examples of when you have conformed. How do we know you do want to follow this system? So we'll get some red flags and we'll talk about it. I'm perfectly transparent with the process.
Yeah, I love that.
And if they really want to conform, that's great too. We're like, look, you really want to follow the process. I can tell this. It's in your core. You're just like, we have a lot of franchise owners who have a lot of autonomy. And early on, they would say, hey, if I want to drive results, is a franchise for me? And I would say, absolutely. How you drive results is not changing how we run a kid's cooking birthday party. It's getting out there and get the business that you need, right? So I love drive autonomy. I think franchise ownership in general is a great path to entrepreneurship for a lot of individuals that want a proven system to get out there and do it. But it absolutely takes work and hustle to get out there and get your market going.
Totally.
So that people know about your business and can come enjoy what we have to offer.
Are you seeing a certain field that your franchisees are coming out of? With those,
that's it. We have so many, I'll call them corporate refugees. And probably most of them are already after. They've already left corporate, whether it's layoff or downsizing or choice. Yeah. I know that's not for me. And I had someone say it, our Meet the Team Day, which we do it every month for prospective franchise owners. And what did he call it? He is self-funding search. So basically, we said, what do you do now? He's like, I'm self-funding my own discovery search of what is next for me. And I laugh. I thought it was a good title for what he was doing. Yeah. But that's it. There are so many backgrounds of our franchise owners who are amazing, from sales to HR to accounting, to people who've owned their own small contract businesses. We have so many backgrounds.
Yeah. And Jessi, what are you finding they're looking for?
So they're looking to not go back to corporate. They're pretty firm on that, right? That is not the life for me. They are wanting to generate income, right? To replace the income that they lost. Yeah. Obviously not initially. It takes 12 months to open a Taste Buds kitchen, and then there's a ramp up period, but they absolutely want to generate income and value. Yeah. They want their families to be involved largely, right? Whether it's, hey, I want to, grow this business. I was talking to a candidate earlier in the week. He has a 2-month-old and he's literally already talking about legacy. I love that, right? Growing something as his first time dad. I now have a son and I'm thinking about how can I pass this business on to this little baby, this, precious little 2-month-old. They want their kids to work there. They want their kids to see them, working hard and creating their own destiny. And they love what we do. It's so different, right? So Taste Buds Kitchen really is culinary entertainment. So you come into this beautiful space, you have fun cooking, whether you're 2 or 99. Adults can do it while having a glass of beer or wine. And kids just love it for birthday parties, for summer camp. We do a big gingerbread house decorating business, which is coming up in the holidays, and creating memories where families will come back year to year. So they attach to that, right? All of our franchise owners have to be passionate about that and see that as a way forward in their community. But I would say that's it. It's leave corporate, right? Create their own destiny. And I say this to everyone really early on. Figure out what your goal is for your schedule, for your lifestyle flexibility. You will work hard, but you can make anything happen, right? If you want to pick your kids up from school every day, if you want to not work on Friday, if you want to do kickboxing every day at noon, like all these things are possible. Know what you want to do, plan for it, hire your team around it. And I was sharing this at the summit. One of our franchise owners came up to me and said, you know what? For me, it's Tuesday golf. Every Tuesday, I golf. Doesn't matter, rain or shine, right?
That's
Summer,
awesome.
winter. He lives in the Midwest. I golf. And he goes, and I staff my business accordingly. I always staff Tuesdays first. Wow. I know I'm covered. I know my team's in place. And so I think that's what's really fun about being your own boss is you're going to work hard, but you can make things happen that are important to you and that you want for you and your family.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for how long now?
18 years in September. So I'm just starting my 19th year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
How has your leadership style changed over those 18 years? And kind of, I guess, to back that question up, like how do you personally develop as a leader in this industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, as a 26-year-old, I can't say I was much, right? I was just like, I'm going to build this. I'm going to do this. I was largely a one-woman show, but you quickly realize that doesn't get you very far, right? You can't host as many classes as you want or have them as big as you want with just you. You can't grow a business where you have to market and do all the things. So I'd say early on, I built my team of, just people that I liked, that I thought connected and would do a really good job in the kitchen. And they were largely friends or friends of friends or people who connected me, to different individuals. And now kind of, I got married, had 3 kids, started the franchise business, still kept I started all this in New York City, and that's where our flagship location still is. We're in Chelsea on 27th Street. Up on the 10th floor of this big commercial building built in 1907. It's beautiful, original hardwood floors, a beautiful facility in a loft building. And I would say that it's been such an incredible journey to do that, that it's my leadership, I think, it took me probably 10 years to even realize I was a leader because I'm just such a I want results. I want to do this party better. I want to get the sales that we're looking for.
You're probably more you're probably more operative focused than leadership focused, right?
Absolutely. In the beginning, I 100% was. And then all of a sudden you blink and you're like, wow.
I've built something.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely. And I think I would say, the next 10-year journey has been, how can I now be a good leader, right? I did not set out to be a franchisor. I really even didn't know what franchising was. Having kids has helped with that too, right? Just developing empathy and for who my team are as individuals. I'm in a leadership course right now, which I really like. We meet every month and we focus on different aspects of your leadership style and how to be true to who you are, right? We call it your dots, who you are, but also lead authentically and lead in a way that your team needs, right? And everyone's going to need something different. And I know now, 19 years in, we will accomplish more together every time, right? Every day of the week. And so I really try to do the best that I can for my team. I'm still the visionary, so I have to sometimes turn off my drive and desire for results so that I don't drive everyone crazy with all the ideas that I'm coming up with to do. But it's been fun, and I'm just trying to be aware of it. I try every day to be aware of the impact that I can have on my team, how I'm leading them, how I'm helping them to be the best version of themselves, both at work and at home.
Yeah, I love that. And the role. What role?
No one is. So I think, and that's what our leadership class really says is being aware, having an awareness, know who you are, know your strengths and weaknesses, and try to improve on them.
Yeah, and and having that, I think in having that mindset that you never know it all. I mean, when you think you know it all, you're in a bad position.
Yes. I say that all the time to all my franchise owners and myself. I said, every day I do something I have no idea how to do. Every day. Guaranteed. It could be something very little. It could be something very big. But I'm phoning a friend, right? I'm talking to people. I'm trying to figure this out. And that's what's great about entrepreneurship in general, right? You analyze what's in front of you. You learn the best you can. You look at the data. You make a decision and you move forward. And you live with the results of that decision. And hopefully you're right more than you're wrong. But that is kind of, I think, the fun thing about personal growth. And it's the same when you have your own business as a franchise owner, right? You're doing these same decisions. These same things are in front of you. But I like that. For me, that's definitely the way to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's having that mindset of constant never-ending improvement. If you have that mindset, then that's how you view things and that's how you feel, as far as I'm constantly looking for ways to improve the business, have a better experience for my team, a better experience for my franchisees, a better experience for my families that come into Taste Buds Kitchen.
Right. So
I think that's been also, absolutely. The second part of my kind of leadership journey was not just building our team internally, but our franchise owners. I mean, our franchise owners, our partners, they've invested a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Their life savings or a portion thereof, or roll over their retirement, or had access to capital elsewhere. To, their dream is my dream. We are in this together to build the best Taste Buds Kitchen brand that we can, to make each location as successful as we can. And hopefully at the end of the day, and, we do a franchise satisfaction survey every year. Would you do this again, knowing what you know now? And that's my favorite question. And generally it's a yes. And that just feels so good, right? Because you want, it's their lives. Yes. Right? They made a choice to do this. And, they do this each and every day. And they breathe such drive and passion and hard work to it that I want to do the best that I can and have my team do the best that we can for them.
Yeah, I love that. What about, on that note of leadership, what are your habits, routines, leadership principles that kind of keep you grounded and effective in your role? I know there's a lot there.
That I spoke of has been really helpful because every day or every month, second Tuesday of the month, all day, it's online, and we're connecting from different individuals around the country, each in totally different industries, and that's what makes it so great. Right? Doing totally different jobs, some in franchising, some not in franchising. That's been really, really helpful to me to just kind of stop all the busyness that you can get in work, right? All the projects I'm working on, fires I'm putting out, and just say, no, for this day, I'm dedicating it to this. In the beginning of the day, my mind is racing of all the things that I need to do. And then kind of by after lunch, I've slowed down enough to be like, this really makes sense, right? I'm improving myself, trying to improve my company in a different way that is my tendency, which is just next goal, next goal, next goal. So I think that's been really helpful for me. And then, do the homework forward of just, we say at the end of every session, it's just let's be intentional this next month about what it is that we just talked about. So, whether it's leading with vision or teamwork or whatever the case is, and being intentional about it, I think has been really helpful.
Do you share that with your franchisees or is that just an internal?
So I asked some of our franchise owners to be part of my 360 review, and that was helpful. So I reached out to some that know me best, both on my team at HQ, as well as franchise owners, and said, hey, I would appreciate if you would take, probably took them 20, 30 minutes and give me a 360 evaluation. How am I doing on these areas? I did a self-assessment, and then you can kind of look at, how does your team view you? How do your peers view you? How do you view yourself? We did that at the very beginning of the course. And then at the end, we'll do it again and kind of see how my leadership style has hopefully evolved a little bit. So that for me has been a good way to be intentional about it.
There's a lot of companies out there that start or are considering franchising their company. What advice would you give those folks that are considering franchising their concept?
It's a hard road.
Yeah. Hey, Jessi, period.
I'm just kidding. Period. Period.
Come on, let's get into this. So,
yes, I will. No, it can be fantastic road, but it's a lot. I mean, I did not know what I did not know. And I tell this now to our franchise owners. We call them our founding franchise owners who have been around from the very early days of franchising when I knew what the brand was. I knew how it should work. We didn't have all the vendors in line that we do today, right? We hadn't fully figured out. So that was really in the choice to franchise was, okay, I know this can work in the middle of New York City, right? 8 million people, very affluent population. And then I had to say to myself in franchising, okay, what do we need to change to make this work around the country? And I grew very slow and steady, did not promote the brand. We had people open, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, really 1 or 2 locations a year, slow and steady, make sure they were supported, make sure it worked. And then we kind of tweaked anything else we needed to tweak to kind of get it to the current version that you see today. And that I think was really important. But it has been so many iterations. Any business will be this way, right? But in franchising, it's particularly important is because when you're innovating and making changes, you then have the unique responsibility of systematizing that and getting it out to all the owners, right? And you don't want to change too much that it's too overwhelming as a franchise owner, but you definitely want to make the brand better for them. So I think I'm thankful we grew slow and steady. I don't know how I would have done it overnight, right? It has been now 19th year as a brand, and our oldest franchise owner in terms of how long they've been open just renewed for their second 10-year term.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a really big deal.
That is a big deal.
A really big deal. And she owns 2 locations and is a wonderful owner. So I think it's not for the faint of heart. I have incredible grit. Try to teach this to my kids, right? Like, I will just keep going. I love Taste Buds Kitchen. It does not feel like work to me. I love what we do in the kitchen with our guests. I love how we build this. I love figuring out how to make money. I love figuring out how to do it, efficiently, how to build a great team, a business that all of our franchise partners can feel proud of. And so I just keep on it every day. You can't just go get a franchise agreement and say we're a franchisor.
Nope.
Right? You really have to be committed to the long-term success, how to grow this well, and care about your franchise owners as humans, right? As families, as people who are investing money in your belief and in your mission and vision to do this.
Yeah.
So now I would do it again, right?
Yeah.
Where I am, but there were many days when I was like, oh my gosh, this is hard. It's hard. You have to keep going. I did. I feel, our goal is to open 200 locations across the country. We think we can do 500 in total. We've set our sights on 200. We have 41 locations who are, in the development process. We will open our 15th next month. Probably 3 more in the first quarter. And by the end of next year, we'll probably be close to 40 locations open. Takes about a year. So it's very exciting, the current growth stage that we're on. And now actually for the first time promoting the brand and really getting the word out there about Taste Buds Kitchen.
So the 200 is a goal in the what time frame?
I say the next 5 years.
Got it.
Our goal is we probably about 25 to 30 locations a year would be like our sweet spot for where we currently are with the team. We built a really great team. We have 13 people that work at HQ, which I think is really good for, currently almost 15 open locations. Really great team. We have all the departments built out, really focused on doing this sustainably and responsibly with a good team in place and with the right system vendors so that our franchise owners can focus on the kitchen, sales, profitability, their community, making this business fun, spending as little time as possible on mundane administrative tasks. So we've really tried to leverage technology as much as we can with our booking system and with the website and with how we staff, even how we attract talent with our job postings and things like that.
Got it. What is the one thing that you underestimated in franchising? In a positive way. What?
I think just the power to change lives, right? I didn't set out to change lives, and it's a wonderful effect that has happened. And like I said, I am numbers and I am results. And so I've always had goals in my life, right? I just like to be goal driven in what I do. And in franchising, it changed the game a bit because it wasn't just about me and my goals. It was about now all of our franchise owners and their goals and what had been going on in their life and what they were looking to be different in choosing to own a Taste Buds Kitchen and being awarded a franchise. And I think that's it. You see a franchise who you know
Yeah.
them well, and they'll just say, pull you aside and say, I can't believe, what you and your team have built, or you won't believe how this has changed my life. And I almost tear up over the thought of it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
totally.
I wasn't thinking of all those things that happened too, and it just feels good, right? Because
Yeah.
being a franchisor is thankless too. The hat, right? You're never everyone's favorite person because you can't always decide in a way that everyone's going to like what you're doing or the direction you're going in. But it does feel good in those moments to kind of take a step back and say, like, all right, we're doing this, and we are making important changes and having a positive impact on people's lives, on their families. And that feels good.
Well, there's no doubt that you're going to be wildly successful. You're already wildly successful because of that leadership mindset that you just described, because there's not a whole lot of CEOs that I could tell you that believe what you just said. And I'm one of them, right? The one thing that I totally underestimated, and you just said it in a little different way, is that the relationships that I would establish with our franchisees. Like that, those personal relationships. I mean, it was about opening schools or opening locations and grow. But I totally underestimated the friendships and the intimate relationships that we would have with those that entrust us with their future, and what an honor it is to be a part of their lives. And we had a couple. We had a couple in here yesterday. The wife is from Moscow, Russia, and I'm like, now we have family in Russia, right? Now we have family in Moscow that we now can, that we have family there now. And I truly believe that. It's an amazing experience. But I love that answer from you, because that really tells me a lot about you. It tells me a lot about your culture, and it tells me a lot about the brand.
Thank you. You're totally right in the relationships, and where their kids decide to go to college, and did they decide to pay off their loan quickly or pay themselves, right? All these intimate things that you now know about these individuals. I totally agree with that, and it's been kind of a really fun unintended thing that I did not know how that would be, right? You feel like franchise ownership, franchise partners can be very contractual, but it's so much more than that in the relationship and the partnership that you have, and wanting each and every one of your franchise owners to be incredibly successful.
Yeah. Well, Jessi, listen, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this. We have so much in common, and we got to make a date for you to either come to Baltimore or for us to come to New York. But we absolutely have to get together and spend some time.
We're both in Maryland. That's right, where you guys.
That's right.
Just being past our house, you pass us every time you go to your farm. I think you said it was. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Maryland, born and raised. So
that's right. You're on the Eastern Shore.
I'm on the Eastern Shore.
I love that.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's where we're meeting.
Yes, I would love it.
All right, Jessi. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Enrich Your Empire. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Richie Huffman Celebrate. We've got more great episodes lined up for you, so check back with us soon. Until then, stay inspired, stay driven, and keep building your empire.